Last year, I set a challenge for myself, and that was to once in my life go through my New Year's resolutions. Every single year, every year, it's the same process of us as a society. Making New Year's resolutions, gyms are packed, hopes are high, then once February hits, it's back to the same old degenerate behavior. Addiction, arguing with random people on the internet, which is just super weird. I promised myself 2022 would be the start to a journey, which meant I have to start slow. Not too many resolutions. I need to ease into this lifestyle of productivity and striving to be great, becoming the uncommon amongst the uncommon. I decided my New Year's resolutions would be wake up at 5 a.m. every single day, become a straight A student, bulk up and get physically massive, read 22 books, travel to 2 different countries, jump on NoFap seriously, and that's it. Doable tasks that are all possible within 12 months. And I accomplished them. I went from an insecure boy who felt the world owed him something, someone who would argue with everyone and anything simply because they had a different opinion than me. To some extent, I was a keyboard warrior. A man in shining armor and pixels, but behind the screen was a young, fickle man made out of glass. Many people don't want to face reality and confront themselves in the mirror, but I did. And it was one of the best things I ever did. Now, enough of me roasting myself. Like I mentioned previously, I knew I had to start slow. Many times in life, I've tried to juggle multiple things at once. Eventually, it all became too heavy for me, and it just led to me giving up on everything simultaneously. For me to wake up every day at 5 a.m, I knew I was going to have to sleep super early. Very early. Sometimes at 8 p.m. I'm a firm believer that the human body and mind only really needs 7 hours of sleep per night to perform at its best the next day, especially since I'm not a professional athlete. So I knew my goal was to eventually be in bed by 9 p.m. and knocked out at 10 p.m. Over 3 months, I gradually went from sleeping at 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Me not rushing this allowed me to naturally get into a sleeping pattern. Before I would go to sleep at 5 a.m, now I'm waking up at 5 a.m. I knew I would not have to force this. By the end of March, I was sleeping at 10, waking up at 5 and feeling perfectly fine. Until this day, it's the same sleeping schedule that I still follow. Get out of bed immediately. The worst thing you can do is probably stay in bed and scroll. I heard Andrew Huberman talk about this and it really made sense to me. This is not what I wanted to do. For me, what helped me get out of bed was my Instagram, and I know that sounds hypocritical, but just hear me out. Whenever I would wake up, I immediately got out of bed to take a picture of the time at 5 a.m. and post a picture of the book The Daily Stoic on my Instagram. By the time I did all of this and was adjusted to the lights in my room, I was fully awake. This all took maximum 2 minutes. I'll suggest you all to try this. Having a motive to get out of bed immediately will push you. Most of my time from 5 to 5:20 is really spent doing the normal morning basics. Cleaning my face, brushing my teeth, and obviously making a good cup of tea to start the morning. After that, I would read for exactly an hour. I would just use James Schole's study with me streams or videos to keep track of time. Literally, I did this every single day. Since before, I had only read 2 books in the last 4 years, one of them being Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. Reading 22 books would be a challenge, especially regarding how destroyed my attention span was from the internet and TikTok and Instagram. I began reading simple books. Really all the books in your cliche self-improvement starter pack. Make Time, Atomic Habits, The Art of Not Giving a F. All these books are simple, around 300 pages, but most importantly, didn't use big words and complex sentences to push me towards boredom and get me daydreaming. Since it's been a year now, I've read all sorts of genres of books. When I first started, I knew I had to ease into it, and starting by reading those simple books throughout the year was a great choice. If you aren't a big book reader but want to get into it, I would recommend any of the books on the screen right now. All of these books get the point across to your head with a great message, while still being enjoyable to read to beginners and not using PhD level English to make the author sound smarter than they actually are. The best way I can put it is as if you're reading one big tweet or blog from the author. From 6:20 to 7 a.m. I would study. Now, I've been studying seriously for a few years now until that point, so this was probably the easiest part of my day, but the first 14 minutes of studying in the morning were great, because it allowed my mind to rest on the hard problems I was struggling with the night before and approach it with a new mindset in the morning. This worked wonders for me. Literally sleeping on your problems benefited me so much, and helped ease a lot of stress away. I know there must be some sort of science behind this, so if you know, let me know. After 7 AM, I will leave my house and go to the gym. My gym is a 20-minute walk away from my house, and this was the first year I would take working out seriously. I went into the gym as a weak, fragile man, and the iron inside forged me to someone better. All my time in the gym last year was based around weightlifting and not cardio, as I had spent the entire year bulking up to 200 pounds. But just like everything else I did, I started my weights in the gym very slowly. I began curling 10 kg. Now, I knew for damn sure I could curl more than 10 kg, but I still kept curling that weight because I had to ease myself into it. Gym is very specific too, because with gym, you can actually get injured if you rush into it. I would say I spent the first 3 months of my time in the gym lifting light, high reps, really understanding how everything in the gym works. Having easy days to not get burnt out or demotivated, so I could come to the gym every day and building great form on my lifts. Too many people want to bench 225 ASAP because of TikTok culture, and it's going to lead them down a bad path if they rush into it. Shoulder injuries and back injuries are not to be taken lightly. Now, I also do some MMA training like wrestling, jiu-jitsu and kickboxing, but these are all things that I've gotten accustomed to over the last few years, just like studying. By the end of the year, I had read 22 books, got pretty big, felt more aware about my life, subconsciously studied stoicism and philosophy without even really realizing it, approached situations under a much more calmer tone, but most importantly, I did it. I completed my New Year's resolutions. For the first time in my life, I did everything I said I was going to do. I for once didn't rush into things. I didn't try and impress people that I don't really care about. I put myself first in every single situation. And it paid off. Now, this year in 2023, I'm pursuing more harder goals because I had 2022 to slowly ease into this lifestyle. And as the years go on, I'm going to up the stakes. I'm going to truly make something out of this life. I heard someone say that we are literally living in the coolest video game in existence, and I have to agree with that. It's time for us to take things seriously, to actually start tasks with the intention of finishing them, to start learning seriously and really understand why everything in this world comes to be. Start slow, ease into it, get the fundamentals down and you will be good.